Good day, and welcome to another edition of Formula for Success. I'm here with two distinguished guests, and I want to talk to them a little bit about what they do and why they do it. Can you introduce yourself and tell us who you are and what you do?
My name is Cori Thomas, and I'm a playwright, screenwriter.
My name is Daniela Topol, and I run a theater in New York City, and I'm producing Cori's play.
Oh, so tell us about the play, Cori. What is the name of the play, and tell us what it's about?
The play is called Lockdown, and I wrote it to illuminate the issue of mass incarceration in America, long-term incarceration, and juvenile incarceration. Those are sort of the three issues in addition to parole issues.
And so you got how many characters in the play?
4 characters. We have an OG.
Oh, okay.
We have a YOP. We have a new CO. He's only been on the job 8 months, and he's a young man too. And then there is a female writer who is from the outside and has never been in a prison. So I guess I'm trying to use her to bring the outside world into the prison.
Who's the main character, and tell us a little bit about him?
The main character is a man whose handle is Wise. His name is James Hakeem Jamerson, and Hakeem means wise. He's been incarcerated for 46 years, from beginning at the age of 16. And he is up for his 14th parole hearing, and so he convinces this writer to help him with his parole statement. And so through the work together, she starts to understand what actually goes on in a prison. And I wanted it to be as accurate as possible. I had vocabulary lessons in prison slang.
It's been an amazing process watching her bring the play to life, and now it's amazing to meet you and all of you that I feel like I've been hearing about so much.
You guys have done some readings and some screenings of the play, and
Who were just blown away. I mean, they were weeping, they were laughing,
First of all, there's an organization in New York called the Fortune Society, which has been around for over 50 years. And the man who started it actually started it because he saw a play about prison and was inspired to help people who had been incarcerated because of that. And he had brought a man who had just come out of prison, who had been in prison for murder. So everything was sort of looked at, and everyone here has helped me a lot with the writing of this play. So that's very exciting to me because I kind of feel like I'm honoring everyone here with it.
And Danielle, how did you get involved with this project?
Cori is an amazing writer, and I had a chance to direct a play of hers, and then we had an opportunity to commission a writer about something important, and so the first person I thought of was Cori.
What's been the reaction from the audience?
It's been really, really, really amazing. I think what has really touched me is finding out how many people are touched by incarceration, how many people have family members or friends or people that are incarcerated, and so when they have seen the play, it seems to have really touched them in some kind of a way. Or people who have worked in prisons, they've also said that's very accurate, so that's what I feel good about, is when someone says something is accurate, because that's my goal. I wanted it to be as authentic and accurate as possible, because I feel like that's then going to be my job, is trying to allow people to see the people that I've come to know and respect so much in here.
When we did the readings, 2 readings in Connecticut, there was a group of students felt like they were in here, where they were inside of the prison, and all of them were coming up to Cori afterwards. It felt so important in that moment that we have students come and see this play, that they actually get a window into life inside. So.
And one of the things you had mentioned earlier was that you intend to have, what do you call it,
talkbacks.
Yeah, talkbacks.
They're going to be talkbacks. And the man spoke up after the reading, and I remember he said, when I was told that I'm coming to see something about prison, I didn't really want to go because I just left there, so it wasn't the thing I wanted to come see. And he said, but I'm really glad I saw it, because I felt like I was sort of seeing myself up there, and things that I've thought the character said and whatever, and I sort of felt like it was important that other people should see it because they might understand us better. And that made me really feel proud and good. So I said, well, that's because of Lonnie Morris who went over this whole thing.
And the room changed. You know, in the conversation when he spoke up about his experience, the room changed. And that helped us understand that when we make the play, it'll have 35 performances, that after every performance, we need to create an opportunity for the audience to meet people who have had lived experience or who really spent a lot of time working in the prison system. So.
And speaking of that, you had an experience. You were able to come into No More Tears over the weekend and see the work that's being done there. Tell me how that experience impacted you.
I felt honored to be there. I mean, I felt honored to watch you and all of the men that were there speak about putting a face on violence and processing the impact of actions and reflecting back on the root of their childhoods, and it was deep. It's deep and complicated, and it was really an honor to just be a witness. So I will always remember that for the rest of my life.
One of the things that I think the play brings to the bear, though I haven't saw the play, but I've read enough of the different iterations of it and revisions of it, that I think the play really brings the humanity of Wise and the other, even the officer, the correctional officer. It brings the humanity of these people to the fore, because I think what we often see in television versions of prison is this character, or some way cartoonish or unreal, and I think that what people need to really get in contact with is the reality that there are human beings in prison, and some of us have done some terrible things, but that thing we did does not mean the totality of who we are,
Right.
and that people are redeemable, that you can be redeemed, you can redeem yourself, and as society, I think for me, one of the important things of the play is that society needs to look at how they can accept people back into society, or once they've paid their debt, as we call it, to society. Because I think that's one of the other things that's difficult to navigate, is that how do you now be reintegrated into society in a way that's acceptable to society? I may be ready and done all the good things, all the right things, and changed my life, transformed myself, but when I go back into society, I still have this stigma of ex-felon, formerly incarcerated, whatever term we use for people who are going back into society. And I think that's the next hurdle that we have in this country to overcome.
There are two things that I always tell people, because I've now sat on some panels and had the opportunity to talk about incarceration, or how art can also be a bridge to teach the general public about what is actually happening. And so Adnan Khan, who was incarcerated here and is no longer here now, he had said something that really stuck with me. He said, I wish people on the outside saw us as individuals. And I've sort of just used that as my mantra, because I kind of feel as if I can do that with a play, then maybe, you know, it just breaks that wall down a little bit. Because I think that when we care about someone, like if one of our friends or family members is incarcerated, immediately it puts a face on people who are incarcerated. I think in general, I know I am guilty of just having thought of Men in Blue and just faceless almost. You know, you don't know people, as different people. And as soon as you get to know even just one, you start to realize, well, if that's one person, somebody else is also another person, and that. So I think that that's very important. I also feel that reentry and having the world accepting people is something that I need to try to focus on and work on.
I was just going to say, in No More Tears, you know, you were talking so much about putting a face on violence, and I was thinking so much about this play as putting a face on those who are incarcerated, and that is what the outsides, that's what our mission in many ways is now, about putting a face on seeing individuals who are incarcerated. So just processing how to then empower the audience to help in ways that are productive for our society. And what does that mean?
Yeah. What is it that if you had your dream of dreams, that that you'd want the audience to walk away from, and take away from this play when they leave, that they would carry with them going forward?
I mean, humanity, exactly what we're talking about is the humanity of every individual and individuals who are incarcerated, and that every single person can be an agent of change, and that every single person can do something positive towards making it a more humane society that we live in.
I think that if the audience leaves caring about the characters, then I think when you care about somebody or something that has changed you a little bit, especially someone maybe that you didn't know anything about, that then I hope that will then manifest into some sort of change or some sort of action.
And my hope is that people will walk away from the play recognizing that none of us are the worst of the worst thing we've done, and that each of us are redeemable, and that there's none of us who have not done something that we in some way are ashamed of or feel guilty about, and wish they could be forgiven for. And so that people can find that forgiveness in their hearts and in their minds and their soul for those of us who have offended society in such a horrendous way at times. That's what I'd hope we all walk away with. I want to thank my guests. It's really been insightful. I wish we could talk more, because I could do this for a long time, because I'm really getting insight from talking with you guys, and it's really enjoyable. But we maybe will do it again in the future. I want to thank my audience for participating, and I look forward to talking with you in the future. This is Lonnie Morris signing off from A Formula for Success. Take care and have a good day.
Anonymous, trapped in your feeling, it's obvious. I'm caught in the system, to them I'm a number. They don't give a damn about me, period. You needed someone to feel you, I needed someone to hear me. We came together like pieces of puzzle, we helping each other see clearly. Sometimes it takes time to work through it, but the right one will take time out to do it. Cause if the shoes don't fit, why would you try to force it? We've been there, we've done that, so let's do it. Moment to moment, just in an instant, things can change. Aimlessly roaming, you could be lost, but find your way. Moment to moment, just in an instant, things can change. You got me feeling so confident. Who would've thought this relationship that we shared would free us from our imprisonment? You needed someone to feel you, I needed someone to hear me. We came together like pieces of puzzle, we helping each other